We are currently in a very important place for crypto. We have loads of uncertainty on one side, and we have another side that believes that this is the bottom and now it's time for us to buy. So if you look right now at the prices of our favorite cryptocurrencies, we have Bitcoin at $83,900. We have Ethereum finally above the 2K at 2013. We have XRP at $2.49. We have BNB at 607 and Solana at 128. So in the 1 hour, 24 hour, and the 7 days, we see that we are overall green in the markets. But news and the overall situation of the market is kind of balanced on both sides. So today we're going to be taking a look to understand if it makes sense for you to buy now, if the bottom is already in, or are we supposed to wait for another leg down before we look towards a new all-time high anytime soon. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with maybe not so good news, but as I said before, the copy trading strategy is a fantastic place for you to deposit your stablecoins. Unfortunately, as you can see, we in the past 24 hours lost a little bit, but it is 0.26%. So even if you are just a spot holder of Bitcoin, you know that this number means nothing pretty much, because most likely you lived through a 10% dip, a 20, 30% dip. So here, a 0.26% should be nothing to you, but it is to remind you that we are actually trading. There is no BS, there is no bots or anything like that. We have traders doing these positions right here, these trades right here, to make your money grow, to make your stablecoin grow. And you can see that overall, since we started this position right here, which was in May 2024, we made already 79% so far. So we're almost reaching the 2 million right here in assets under management. So if you'd like to deposit into Bitopics, you can find the first link in the description and join Bitopics. It is fairly easy. If you don't know how to do it, or if you're having any struggle, we have the emails for you to reach out. Soon enough, we will have a Discord where you can open a ticket, let us know if you have any issues. And we also have videos here on the channel where we explain how to deposit into the copy trade, how to withdraw. All of these are here in the channel. So that being said, let's take a look at Ethereum, which has started very, very good in this Wednesday. So it is showing a very, very good green candle, even though the volume is not keeping up as much as we would like to see. So we can see the RSI, we dipped into oversold territory a few times already right here on March 1st and then March 10th once again. Now we are looking up, but we have this average right here holding us, which could stop Ethereum. We need to wait for a confirmation in volume, because without volume, this candle is going to dry out and die pretty soon. But good to see that Ethereum is showing a little bit of a green candle right here, which is nice to see. But when we look to Bitcoin, we don't see the same strength. We don't see the same green candle. We see the same low volume and also the bottoming out 3 days in a row in oversold territory. And now we're looking back towards the 85,000, but I don't know if we will have the strength to keep going forward all the way to 85 and holding there, because we don't have a lot of volume and we also have a lot of uncertainty. You can even confirm that by looking right here. The altcoin season index is at 20 right now, and the fear and greed index is at 23. So people are not very hopeful that this will flip this time around. If we look right here at spot Solana seems to be showing also a green day, but we have to remember that today we have the Fed meeting. So the Fed meeting could be that huge interview that will drop the markets or make it up and down a lot. And then we have to wait for the end of the meeting to see where the market will consolidate, because most likely they will not cut any rates right now, but we have to wait for the interview, because usually the interviews will gives away the bigger picture for the whole quarter, maybe even for the next quarter, and maybe even a projection for the whole year. So this narrative that they give you is what could make it or break it for today. So today we should be seeing a lot of volatility going up a little. So if you're trading volatility, this could be good for you to prepare, or maybe to short once we have already the news out, and you can short volatility that way. But we see markets are moving without a lot of volume. So that could be because of that volatility, that IV going a little bit higher. So if we look at liquidations, we don't have that many liquidations as we saw any other day. So most of these, 70% were shorts liquidated. So mainly on Ethereum. Ethereum wins the medal right here for most liquidations in the 24 hours, Bitcoin in second, but then everything else is kind of slowing down. We have a lot of longs and shorts. If you see, And now we can see that we are skewed. We are tilted towards one side right here, towards the short side on this liquidation map right here. So you need to be careful because, as I said, we always tend to find that equilibrium, that balance, So this should eventually start to balancing out. Maybe we're going to see a drop a little bit more and liquidate some shorts on the Bitcoin side of things. On Ethereum itself, we have way more. There's a huge amount of longs here in Ethereum, and this is usually not good because it acts as a magnet, as we said before. It will start to pull them down and liquidate these long positions that believe that Ethereum is bullish. So once you switch for the heat map, you can see Bitcoin has a very hot spot right here at the $80,000. So scary number. So are we gonna look at that number again? I don't know, but I would advise you to, unless you're trading volatility or shorting volatility, wait out to hear what they have to say, and then you jump back in to see if the markets are gonna be happy or sad with what they hear from the Fed meeting today. So by looking at the liquidation map right here, you can see the same thing. We have such a strong attraction right here to the 1900 that it is a little bit scary. So this green candle right here liquidated a lot of people here at the 1950s and brought the price all the way almost to 2K, you can see. And now we seem that is slowing down, and maybe we could dump it all back to the 1900s, the low 1900s. So again, please be careful, because this will be a little bit of a swing day for everyone that is holding or trading cryptocurrencies today. So before we end, we have some articles right here. They are controversial, they go against each other, but just so you have a clear picture that no one knows what the market will do, we're seeing right here an article that says that futures have been deleveraged on Bitcoin. So $10 billion wiped of open interest in the past weeks, 2 weeks to be exact. We can see that the amount of open interest, the aggregated open interest of Bitcoin futures in the 90-day has dropped quite a lot, from 32 billion to 23 billion. So that is a scary number. But then we see someone making a bullish case out of this, which I think it is a little bit far-fetched, not wrong, but far-fetched for the current situation. And I'm going to show you the two articles that I have later on. And here we have this quote that's saying, looking at historical trends, each past deleveraging like this has provided good opportunities for the short to medium term. So again, the deleveraging may not be done. We still could be correcting, we still could be waiting it out and deleveraging even more on the open interest things, or maybe we have stopped already deleveraging on Bitcoin and then we have to deleverage from altcoins. I don't think we are already at the bottom of everything for us to, well, now we deleveraged 10 billion. It is time for us to long again because we kind of flushed out a little bit and we have now more opportunities to go up. I personally don't see it this way. I personally see that we are now going to be waiting a little bit before we start looking up, especially on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that brings us to this article right here, which shows us that also stocks, the traditional finances, are not doing very good. There's a lot of cash accumulation that we started seeing last year with Warren Buffett. I think Berkshire Hathaway has like $300 billion, $200 billion of cash just laying there, So they are waiting for maybe a recession, maybe, a flush of stocks for them to start buying at cheaper prices. So overall, investors' cash allocation has risen from 3.5 to 4.1 in a month. So this is not bullish for the stock market, which then now could reflect into the crypto market as well. Maybe lower liquidity, maybe lower deposits and newer users in the blockchain. And by looking at the price action right here of Bitcoin, we can see that on the weekly, we are bouncing on that EMA, on the 50 EMA. And then we have also to look at the 200 EMA, which is a very important one. The 200 EMA is very well respected here for Bitcoin and also Ethereum. So by looking at that, we're bouncing again, not the first time. We've bounced right here in 2023, 2024, September 2024, and now 2025, we're bouncing back in this range right here, this area of the 50 EMA. So if we break and we go below this, we have to be prepared to hold on all the way to this 200 EMA right here, which doesn't mean that we will touch 50,000 because right now it is on $50,000. No, this EMA will go up and rise until it meets the price. So maybe we're going to be looking at a $65,000, $69,000, which is the golden number that we've been talking about here in this channel for a while. So maybe that could be it if we break below the 50 EMA right here. And we have a tweet right here saying that the bear market begins officially when it trades below the moving average average as it did in previous cycles. So right here we have it pointed out. This was the pandemic. This was 2018, 2019. This one was 2022. We see that when it breaks below the moving average, we are usually flipping from a bullish to a bearish scenario for quite a few months. So we have to keep an eye on these moving average. This is why I said we could be seeing some bullish news, could be seeing some bearish news, but we have to kind of get everything, consume that content, and then understand which side you believe will perform well or go according what your beliefs are. Then we have a little bit of a controversial topic that I mentioned before, which is that Bitcoin hasn't been showing his big name that it is a store of value, at least not in the short term. Here we have kind of a tricky way to saying, well, it is not a store of value for the short term, but it is on the long term. But when we have this comparison right here between Bitcoin and gold, you can see that gold has been steady. A lot of people say, well, gold sucks because it never goes up in value, which is wrong, because you can see whenever there's wars, whenever there's global conflict, gold spikes in price. Of course, it cannot be compared to Bitcoin that spikes 120% in a single year, but gold has been steadily holding its value. And guess what? Bitcoin has not. The shorter we go on the time frame, the more gold has been outperforming Bitcoin. So it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is bad and gold is good, because gold has a slow slope and Bitcoin has a huge slope. So Bitcoin is still a way for you to grow your capital, maybe more in the long term, but for you to store the value that you have. So without having to worry what is the daily fluctuation in price, precious metals are still king when it comes to holding that value. Now, if you want to duplicate or even triple, quadruple, 10x your money, then yes, Bitcoin makes a little bit more sense. But that story of store of value, that kind of goes to shambles when you start looking and comparing gold to Bitcoin in different time frames. And there's also a lot of speculation. This is interesting to see. What is the distribution of Bitcoin as of today? So most of it, 69% of it, is between individuals. So individuals hold Bitcoin. So there is no way for the government to buy 51% and dominate Bitcoin. It is literally virtually impossible. We also have businesses, for example, holding 4.4% of the supply, and then funds and ETFs 6.1% of the supply. Governments like the US, for example, they have 1.4% of the total supply. Then we have Satoshi/Patoshi with 4.6% of that supply. Other entities with 1% more or less of that supply. Lost Bitcoin, that one is actually scary. 7.5% of the whole supply is lost Bitcoin. And then to be mined, we still have 5.7% that should be mined. Some projections said 2150. So we have a lot of time for that 5% to still be mined. So that being said, I'll leave you to think about where Bitcoin will go, what Bitcoin will do, and how it will act after today's news by the Fed. And maybe by the time you're watching this, the Fed is already out, the data is already out, and you should be seeing the fluctuations in prices of Bitcoin and crypto in general. With that being said, I'll see you guys on Friday. So thank you very much and have a great rest of the week. Peace.